Oh, 뭐 로사요 당신도 맛을 놓아래 레이버를 보내시기 위lun가 하신다카라고 하노아래 오마가 나지 마스터를 짜 알라고 자치 뭐하고 말이 좋았자 하차 뭐요라 로자 하요가 뭐 하지마가 사서 인간적인 얘기하는 신호가 꽉 왔으면 이상하게 찍어서 보관하고 이거다가 보고도 보관하고 야 이번에 로사요가 신호마서 노아리 알레이버를 보내시기 위lun가 하신다카라고 하노아래 오마가 나지 마스터를 짜 알라고 자치 뭐하고 말이 좋았자
afternoon. We'd like to thank you on behalf of the Soback family for joining us in this memorial service. At this time, we ask that you bow your heads as we go to a short prayer in the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. We pray for our faithfully departed, O loving Father, source of all life. Please accompany your servant, Jamie Soback, from this earth to the kingdom of heavenly peace, rest and eternal life that you have prepared for us. Forgive any sins that have been committed and welcome this departed soul into the joyful embrace of your never-ending love. Amen. At this time, we'd like to remember our loved one in a traditional memorial song, followed by a song of honor remembering the accomplishments of Jamie throughout her life. Thank you. At this time, I'll be turning over the rest of the program to Peter Redbird.
Nice. Welcome everyone here today in person, and those of us welcome everyone online that can't be here in person. We come together this afternoon to celebrate the life, adventures, and mischief of our mother, Jamie Soback. She comes from the Oklahoma Seminole Nation, the proud community of Wewoka, Oklahoma, a member of the Bird Clan and Miccosukee Band. Jamie was a proud Oklahoma Seminole woman with a drive and will to accomplish almost anything she set her mind to. She loved all shades of pink, purple, turquoise, and was very keen at putting those colors together to create her ensembles and outfits. From her love of Garfield, home-cooked meals, Hello Kitty, and of course, pink flamingos. Those were her favorites. As I said earlier, Jamie was an enrolled member of the Oklahoma Seminole Nation and Bird Clan and Miccosukee Band. It may seem a little strange that we always introduce ourselves that way, our tribe, our band, our clan. We do this so that wherever we travel in this world, if there are any relatives that are there that we may not know, they then will see, I'm Bird Clan as well. You're my brother. You're my sister. You're my mom. You're my dad. Jamie started her American Indian culture education career in 1957 in Wyoming. With her hoop dance and cultural performances, it was very unusual at that time for women to be hoop dancing. But Jamie put her mind to it. She convinced some of our Kiowa relatives to teach her how to hoop dance. She decided to use only 5 hoops, and those hoops were made out of dogwood back in 1957, which she still has today. Of those 5 hoops, they represent the 5 civilized tribes. And she used them throughout her performances for over 45 years. It didn't matter where we were traveling to. Jamie had the unique ability to seek out other natives wherever we were. She would say, that guy looks native. I'm going to go talk to him and find out where he's from. What's his band? What's his clan? What's his tribe? Where's he going? She had that unique ability. She never met a stranger and would help dispel native stereotypes at a drop of a hat, always looking to educate, to teach, and to help other non-natives and natives alike understand what it is to be Native American. In her words, American Indian, Indian. You dance in your Indian clothes. These are all things that she grew up doing and was very proud to give to the world, to educate the world. That drive that Jamie has transferred to me in the same way that I love to travel, educate, and bring our Seminole culture to the world. This balance of mischief, craziness, with the compassion to drive, educate, and entertain made her a captivating performer wherever she traveled. One time we were, whether it was traveling across Europe or the Marianas Islands in Saipan, she would, if we had downtime, she would always think, I think I should go for a walk and find out what the people do here, what's going on. And off she would go. Whether it was in Naguro, Tokyo, she would go for a walk. One time, actually a great story, when we were in Saipan, we were able to do a cultural performance at the Native Islanders Elder Center, with Chamorros and Carolinians. Once the show was over and the performance, she's like, let's do a meet and greet. I want to find out what foods they eat. How do they prepare their foods? And most importantly, how do they do show work like we do? Is it similar? Is it different? The designs and the materials, how do they do that as well as fellow Native people? Jamie once told me, knowledge is power. Learn all you can about your Seminole people and all Native tribes. That way, when you go out into the world, you have that power, that knowledge to educate and accomplish whatever you like. That's our mom, Jamie Soback. At this time, I'd like to bring up my brother, Jim.
Hi, good afternoon. I'm the second son, Jim. Mom called me Jimmy. It's great to see everyone here in person and virtually around the globe. I'm sure that Mom is happy that we could get together with many of her friends and family. She would absolutely want us to celebrate. But before we do, I would like for us to collectively do a 1-minute gratitude meditation. As much as Mom was a giver, she was also so deeply thankful for all of you. Through a moment of meditation, we will set the frame for being here today. In terms of gratitude, this quote may help. At times, our own light goes out and is rekindled by a spark from another person. Each of us has cause to think with deep gratitude of those who have lighted the flame within us. So before I begin to celebrate Jamie's life, I would hope we could all spend a moment in gratitude. I am in no way a meditation teacher, but my good friend Ken Muir left instructions before he passed away several years ago. A Scottish bloke who had lived in India for a number of years, he was a great friend of mine, whose flame also went too soon. As we listen to the flute song Cry for Eagle by Lowry Begay, born for the sheeprock people of the Navajo Nation, if I can ask everyone to close their eyes and just continue to breathe, slowly in, slowly out, slowly in, slowly out. Continue to breathe. Now in your mind, please take a moment to picture someone to send love to and thanks to. It doesn't need to be Jamie, but to anyone in your life. Just think a positive and thankful thought for someone who has been important in your life. If you lose sense of thought, just center back to your breathing. We will meditate for a minute, and then I will bring us back. Slowly bring yourself to the present. Thank you for joining me on this meditation. Mom was special, of course, I can say that as her son. But actually, I think she was a damn unique person. Strong, but compassionate woman who helped many through her physical therapy practice, but also through her caring nature to help those in need. Mom, we're going to share some photos here as we go through my remarks, but Mom was born in Wewoka, Oklahoma, as Peter already mentioned, in 1935. Her birthday is now an infamous day, but back then it was just September the 11th. She grew up with her sister Amelia, or Mimi as we knew her, and her mom Ruth Brown, two amazing women in their own right. And her dad, they lived in a nice farm setting. Her brother died just 10 days after childbirth. The house they lived in was built in the early 1900s and is still there today. Her dad, James C., passed away in 1959. When Jamie was 4, she became very ill with anemia, a blood disease, and it wasn't until she went away to a hospital 11 years old and her spleen was taken out did she then begin to recover. She graduated from Wewoka High School and attended the University of Oklahoma. She graduated in 1957 with a bachelor's degree in physical therapy. She was third place. Actually, sorry, can we go back one slide, please? Yes, so she was third place at the 1957 Miss India America pageant in Wyoming. She was 21 in this photo. She's third from the left, or second from the right, whichever way. I think she pretty much stands out if you look at that photo long enough. She left soon after Oklahoma for Washington, D.C. She was practicing PT there when she was given an opportunity to be Miss Oklahoma in the 1958 Cherry Blossom pageant. In 2018, my children and I went to the Smithsonian Archives in Washington, and we could see the materials from the festival that year. It was one of the very few years that they still had the actual program from the event. She was incorrectly named Janice Brown in the program, but she didn't care. An interesting side note about cherry blossoms is that they were a gift from Japan to the United States in 1910. And I always thought it was cool that my wife, Hazuki, worked at the U.S. Embassy in Tokyo, and in 2012, she was program manager when the U.S. returned the favor to Japan by donating thousands of dogwood trees, which were Mom's hoops as well. So while Mom was in D.C., she started talks and cultural performances. She began hoop dancing, as Peter's already mentioned. Some of this I just learned yesterday when reading the D.C. newspaper article in 1958 that we found. I have it here with us in case any of you would like to see it later. But at some point in 1959, she moved to Nashville, Tennessee, and then eventually to Chattanooga. Mom continued to be a Native American cultural lecturer. And I love this newspaper clipping as it captures the best of both of her worlds, entertaining people and making sure the people she cared about the most, children with medical issues, that they have a chance to be entertained like everyone else. She then met our dad, Pete, and they were married in 1964. If you look closely, the article mentions that the flower girl, Lisa, was a patient of Jamie's, and she had polio. That was Mom. Before we came along, Peter and I, Mom had her own TV show in Chattanooga called The Princess Redfeather's Hour. I tried to get footage of that, but back then I guess they taped over actual recordings, which I guess that seems pretty crazy, but that's what happened. Then Peter was born, and then 3.5 years later, myself. Of course, we were model children. We used to love to go up to Tellico Plains, and we had a cabin there for a few years, and it was just an amazing place to enjoy the outdoors. In early 1980s, Mom opened a physical therapy center in our house in Ringgold. She welcomed many people into our home to heal and to help them with their lives. She put a swimming pool in the front yard, and she had custom-built hydraulic jack put in for wheelchair use. This was way before these actually became commonplace. Everyone should be able to enjoy the water, was what she said. The problem with putting a pool in the front house is that it made it very fair game to jump off the roof of the second floor into the pool. Boy, Peter sure got into trouble. Of course, I had nothing to do with any of that. I would never do anything that dangerous, of course. Later in the 1980s, after traveling and doing a number of powwows and art shows, Mom decided to open Tafachati Art Gallery, a Native American art gallery in St. Elmo, Chattanooga. We focused on promoting Native artists and culture to the community. Eventually, she opened an art gallery in Atlanta. The Silver Sun Gallery was an awesome place of culture right in the heart of Atlanta, and we enjoyed being just a few blocks away from the 1996 Olympic Centennial Park. We held the torch in Macon, Georgia, with our mamaw, Grandma Ruth, then 94 years old. It was a special time. Mom wrote to the Olympic Committee to petition for Native American performances during the opening ceremony. The thing that many of you may remember from that time was Muhammad Ali lighting the fire. That was the opening ceremony for the 1996 Olympic Games. This newspaper photo is when we donated to a highway welcome center in Georgia. This is one of the last photos of Mamaw before she passed away. Jamie's mother, Ruth, passed away later that same year. Mimi, on the right, her sister, passed away a few years later. Later, after the Olympic Games, after closing the galleries, Jamie was involved in the Chattanooga Indigenous Resource Center Library, or CIRCLE. I then moved away from the U.S. in '97 for Saipan, then Japan, and now Singapore, and Peter left for Arizona and to see the world as well. As Peter mentioned, Mom visited Europe and performed when Peter was on tour across many countries. She visited me in Saipan for our wedding in 2002 and eventually came to Japan to see us. Mom transitioned over several years between Georgia, Arizona, Oklahoma, and eventually back here to Arizona. Likely, she visited many of you during this time. Thank you for your generosity. She survived breast cancer in 2007, and she remained steadfast at supporting awareness campaigns, walks, and organized events. Then, in 2019, she drove herself to the hospital after having a heart attack. According to her calendars, and I have them over there somewhere, she was swimming until late April. She drove until the week before she passed. Mom lived a full life, as I have described just now, but who she was is so much more. Many of you have reflected through comments, texts, videos, and perhaps for all of you, as she was for all of us, she was a special soul. Her spirit was unique. She was unwavering, strong-minded, possessed unbounded creativity, perseverance like an ox, i.e. stubborn at times. Don't forget to take your medicine. Had a tendency to show up and to say hello, but she might have stayed for a while. She had an uncanny ability to open her soul and give some to you if you spent any time with her. She loved family and friends. She kept most, if not all, of your cards over the years. The invitation and thank you card from Megan and Sean Paul's wedding in 2012. She loved the celebration. And as Megan put it, Jamie endeared herself to the Irish side of the family. Hope you're joining today from Ireland. She enjoyed the margaritas and danced with the grandfather-in-law. Likewise, Ryan and Harrison's invitation is there. Seems she also enjoyed herself on the dance floor at that wedding as well. Mom could definitely cut a rug. All of your Thanksgiving, Christmas, Mother's Day, or birthday cards she kept. She cherished the family and friendships. But there were other cards there as well. She loved holiday gatherings with family, or any chance really to get together. That was Mom. She loved to communicate with people, especially someone she didn't know, as Peter already said. She was fearless, often in saying, well, I'm just going to go up there and talk to so-and-so. Oftentimes with some pretty amazing results. One card Mom kept reveals such. Hello, Jamie. It was so nice to meet you on the plane. I hope you had a great time with your friends in Tennessee. I've been telling my friends about your Japanese washcloths. Do you have a price list you can send me? Hope your knee is feeling better. It was truly great to meet you. Perhaps many of you were given a washcloth at some point. They are pretty awesome, though. But it gets even better in terms of how Mom could make friends instantly. Vicky Carhu relayed a great story where once she and Jamie were near Wetumpka, Alabama, and at an art or trade show, and Mom just walked up and started speaking to the head of the Alabama Cultural Society. And it turned out that her husband was a head archaeologist in the area and had been instrumental in documenting the history of the creek mounds there. And it gets even better. Jamie and Vicky ended up getting invited to stay at the couple's house, and the husband took them for a full moon tour of the mounds at night. I think that's pretty much trespassing, but hey, that was Mom. She loved her grandkids. Salabai, as firstborn grandchild, held a special place in her heart. Grandma wants you to move on in your life journey now. You were with her in the last moments of her life, and we all thank you for taking care of her in her time of need, and for trying to keep her from running around during COVID. I know that was a special and hard task to do, but thank you, Salabai. We're really, really proud of you. Hanon and Rion were fortunate to be able to enjoy time with Granny in many places around the world. Japan, she visited a couple of times. We enjoyed many adventures in Japan, but it was tough on her, as a lot of walking and public transportation, and forget about chopsticks. Not happening. We had a great Christmas that year, and Sai had come, as you've seen. Bali, she loved the culture of Bali and the hot weather. She did fall there on our first night, but as she said, well, at least I didn't die. And it's true, she could have been worse off than she was. Thailand, here she is with Noriko, my wife Hazuki's mother. It was a special time. And then who can forget about Hawaii? Man, those were awesome vacations. So that was Oahu and Kauai. But Mom being Mom, and when my wife was running the Honolulu Marathon, Mom made sure that she made special shirts and sent the pins so that the kids could design a special shirt for their mother. Then I kidnapped her to Singapore for a year, at least. She enjoyed her time in the sun there. She enjoyed the varieties of food and things she could do there. She could even see her granddaughter perform ballet. And she even played the tourists at the Merlion there. She made many friends there, and she even volunteered her time at the local stroke recovery center. She helped 2 young entrepreneurial ladies who were in the medical business to get started and provided them advice. And one very funny story is one Easter, she took a bunch of floral and she donated it to a retirement home. It just happened to be that retirement home is a Muslim retirement home who don't really celebrate Easter, which is not a Islamic tradition per se. But Mom said, everyone likes flowers. So, okay, Mom. And lastly, in 2018, when we came back for time with Peter in Michigan, that was an amazing experience in Upper Peninsula of Michigan. I hope we get a chance to do that soon again. Peter was able to dance at a powwow. This was the last dance Mom saw of Peter. Then we moved to Dallas. We had so much fun with the family there, and we'll see you next week when we get on the road. After Dallas, we then road tripped to Sunrise at the Grand Canyon, and then back to her home in Phoenix. That was an awesome experience. Jamie loved music and dance. She met Elvis Presley, who, in her words, was just a skinny, greasy kid when she met him. Jamie loved the blues, and she could party down, be it in some honky-tonk club in Atlanta, Dallas, Oklahoma City, or even the Blue Note in New York City. To the many festivals she visited Peter and Judy at, she knew how to find her way to the party. She loved our cousin Jesse Ed Davis, who made his way to Hollywood as a guitarist, who did an album with Taj Mahal and played at the concert for Bangladesh, who unfortunately succumbed many years ago. She loved sports. Jamie would drive way out of the way to the Twisted Kilt in West Tempe just to watch an Oklahoma football game. If she came into your house and asked to put on a ball game, that meant you were like family to her. I've been looking over her calendars as she kept very meticulous notes. And every OU football or softball game, the result was there. She wrote to the women's softball team coach and sent them dream catchers. And as congratulations on their national championship, the head coach sent a beautiful note back to her. She was such a huge supporter of golf. She loved playing and was an amazing putter. When I came and played with her here in Phoenix on a short course, she had 2 birdies on a 5-hole course, and she was pretty awesome. She met Arnold Palmer and was a huge Phil Mickelson fan. I actually think she must have passed away just as he won the PGA Championships a couple weeks back. Not only was she a huge sports fan, but she exercised all of her adult life. As I mentioned, she was swimming until April, and when she swam, she would tread water for 30 minutes, not touching the bottom. Try it. It's not easy. She would do hundreds of water-assisted push-ups as well. Before her knees got too bad, she would walk thousands of steps, counting her own steps along the way. This was way before step counters. Part of the exercise or the health routine was sunning, or getting her vitamin D dose, as she called it. An interesting side note is when she came to Singapore in 2013, and it was a bad year for haze. Literally, it was like, if you take a look at this photo, the photo on the left is a clear day, the photo on the right was how it was, and that's how it was when she was out sunning. I'm not sure, but she got her vitamin D dose and extra that day. I'm sure a lot of you can relate to those sunning moments if she stayed at your house. She loved cartoons. Man, she had thousands of cartoon cutouts from newspapers. She loved Garfield, and she got me hooked on Garfield back in the day. Not sure if you can see it, but that's a giant, handmade Garfield that she got me for Christmas. I don't know exactly how Peter avoided the Garfield bug, but he did. She loved food. Lois relayed how Mom had hired her when she was 15 years old to come and live with Peter and I when we were just little kids. And Mom went to see her recently, or last time she was down in that area, and had Lois cook up her favorite food. And, one of her favorite foods was Long John pizza. And I'm not sure if anyone wants that recipe. I do have it. And there it is, handwritten. And I've been looking for that thing, so I'm so happy that we actually have it. Mom loved coffee and sweet tea, not together, but she had to have both of those during the day. I'm sure many of you, certainly many of us, were with her when she had to go get her sweet tea fix at some store along the way, but she knew the best sweet tea around, and always extra lemons. She was a prankster, a bit mischievous, and she definitely could be known to pull a trick or two. There were many nights when we were kids where we might try to roll someone's house with toilet paper, but probably one of my favorite stories is the Big Bass Tournament in Chatsworth, Georgia. Joanne relayed this story to us, and so Mom was always going out of her way to help people. I think people have seen that. So one of her patients at the time was an elderly gentleman, and somehow Mom had volunteered her and Joanne to go and paint the man's apartment. So they get done over something like 2 days of work, and they're driving around town at night, and it's not where they live. It's about 20, 30 minutes away, and Joanne says, that Big Bass Tournament sign will look funny with that B covered up. So with the craft paper that they still had left in the car, they covered up that B in bass. And they drove around the block a few times, just looking at their handiwork and being like, yeah, look at that, it's so funny. Before they noticed that right across the street was the sheriff's department. It was only then that they thought, what happens to our kids if we get arrested? Mom was a person that cared for others. Being a physical therapist for so many years, she helped people of all walks of life. There were many people that started out as patients and ended up as friends. Some didn't have much in the world, but she would go above and beyond to take care of them. She was always trying to fill up our car with wheelchairs to take kids to the zoo or a special event. She was a champion for disabled children and wanted to make sure that they were able to participate in life and all activities as much as possible. I remember an 18-year-old girl who suffered a terrible brain injury in a car wreck, Becky. I can't tell you how many times Mom would just go by their house to sit and try to speak with Becky and make sure she was stretching her limbs and staying active. There was Jack, our mechanic. His shop and his home were so far out of the way, but she made sure we took all of our car repair needs to him. He had lost his legs in an accident. There were many, many more. Tiny, the gentle giant, who was the best damn cook I can remember. Mom had truly set up an awesome physical therapy center in our house. She did home visits before there was hospice care. She invented a hand-powered bicycle and started the Rolling Thunder Club to encourage differently abled athletes to grow their skills. After she stopped her physical therapy business and closed her art galleries, she tried to help introduce activities at the Elder Center in Wewoka. She volunteered for the Unity Native conferences out here in Arizona. She was a huge supporter of breast cancer runs and races. When she came to Singapore, as I mentioned, she volunteered. She took me out to the National Park Center. I had no idea there was one. She was just all over the place and so vivacious. There's so much more to discuss and chat about Mom, but I will leave you with this. She would want you to challenge yourself, but only you can make yourself to do it. She wants you to be proud of who you are and where you come from. She wants you to stand for others and do what you can for unity. She wants you to never stop learning and never stop growing. There were 3 things that Granny had on the side of her wall at her house next to her bed where she passed away. Mom had a large photo of Ruth Bader Ginsburg. She had a giant full newspaper ad that just read unity. And as Mom was constantly trying to try out the newest exercise, she had an article on how to fight the underarm jiggles. Those were the 3 things she had on her wall. Thank you, Mom. Thank you for everything. Here are your words to us. Do not stand at my grave and weep. I am not there. I do not sleep. I am 1,000 winds that blow. I am in the diamond glint on snow. I am the sunlight on ripened grain. I am the gentle autumn rain. When you wake in morning hush, I am the swift uplifting rush of quiet birds in circling flight. I am the soft starlight at night. Do not stand at my grave and weep. I am not there. I do not sleep. Godspeed, Mom. We love you. Now, you can't necessarily see this if you're on the video, but Mom had this collection, shall we say, of flamingos. And, you know, we have a small selection of it here today. There was much, much more. But please feel free, for those of you who are here afterwards. Flamingos are a very special animal, and they're extremely classy. But when you get a chance, research a little bit about the symbolism of flamingos. Now, some of you have shared tributes, and we would like to hear a couple of those today. The first is from her niece, Teresa, in Texas.
I have really enjoyed reading the comments and condolences many of you have left on Peter and Jimmy's Facebook pages. They really capture Jamie's spirit and the impact and influence she had on so many lives. She was Aunt Jamie to my sister Becky, to my brother Stanley, and me, and to several great nieces and nephews. After Jamie retired and moved back to Oklahoma, she would often come to Dallas and stay, sometimes for extended visits. We would watch reruns of old sitcoms and laugh a lot. What an infectious laugh she had. She liked to bask in the sun on my front porch, always the sun worshiper. And we shopped, and I cooked a lot. I can't recall a food Jamie didn't like. She would amaze me at the food she would eat left over for breakfast: roasted beets, pizza, or the Mexican takeout from the night before. And she ate them all cold right out of the refrigerator. She had her favorite seafood restaurants in Dallas and couldn't wait for 25-cent raw oyster night. She would eat a plateful of them and then order the Mexican shrimp cocktail, extra spicy, of course. And more than once she said, "Let's go to Sonic. I'll just have a chocolate milkshake for dinner." We rarely missed happy hour at Brahms either, so she could get her favorite cherry limeade. And nothing would make her madder than when someone overcooked her steak. I can just hear her now. "Well, I'll be. They just ruined that good piece of meat." Jamie enjoyed her food, and I enjoyed cooking for her, because no matter what I made, she would say, "This is the best thing I've ever put in my mouth." Jamie was adventurous, not just with the foods that she would try, but her whole life was an adventure. I am glad I was along for much of the ride.
Hello, everyone. Just wanted to send my condolences out to the family of Jamie, and just want to say a few things about her and share a little bit about what an impact that she was on my life and my family. And I appreciated her for everything that she did and shared with me, always supported me in what I do and the traveling that I was doing, and told me to keep being out there and sharing and celebrating our culture with many people from around the world. Always continued to tell me to dance and to be happy about who you are and to be proud of where you come from. So I say hello to everyone out there, and I send my condolences out to the family, and I miss you all. Blessings to each and every one of you.
Thank you, Lowry. So, Mom was a lover of art and music. And so today, my children, Rion, who's made the trip with me, and Hanon, who's back in Singapore, they prepared a little something for us. So Rion's going to play piano, and then Hanon has made a drawing for us on the screen.
Thank you very much, Rion. Thank you. Thank you very much, guys. As we start to wind the service down, we want to make sure we say thank you always, always thankful. One of the best things about Jamie's and our huge extended family, I want to take a quick moment to say a special thank you to my wife, Judy, my daughter, Ryan, and my two little grandbabies, Abby and Sarah, and how they love to watch and talk to Grandma Jamie. That's Grandma Jamie. We're going to go to the powwow. We're going to see and watch her dance. So it's all about family, and we think that's the common thread throughout her life, is as adventurous as she was, as mischievous as she was, and how her love of spicy hot food, it's centered around family. From blue corn chips, spicy salsa, and ice-cold margaritas, that's what makes the world go around. Enjoy them in good company and with friends. At this moment, if anyone here locally in person would like to come up and say something, maybe a special story or something, it doesn't have to be long, we would love and welcome that from you guys tonight as we get ready to draw to the close on there. It's open mic. Crying is okay. Crying is good.
But I love Jamie, and she was a special lady who treated me really well. We had a lot of fun together.
Good. Laughter, laughter. All about the laughter.
Yeah, she was beautiful.
And everything.
Jamie and I have been friends for many years, and as you know, Germans love American Indians. And she told me that she was dancing in Germany, so I told her, well, then you know firsthand. Karl May is a German author who lived at the end of around 1890, and he was put in jail. He was a petty thief, and because he had nothing to do, he wrote these stories about the American West, never having set foot here. And he wrote about Winnetou, who was an Apache prince, and I, as a child growing up, read these stories. I wanted to marry Winnetou. And to this very day, I only like dark-complected men.
Nice. That is good. That is good. Yeah. One of the great adventures we had was actually in, I think it was Bad Ziegerberg at the Karl May Spiel. I want to say, I think it was, or Dresden, maybe it was Dresden. I think so, but it was good. It's good.
And we have in Germany, like in America, we have actually a name for Indians. It's called, and that sets you apart from the East Indians, and it's called Indianer.
Nice. Indiana. I like that. That is good. Celebrate. That's the theme. That's what we're doing. We love hearing the stories, like our cousin Teresa said, reading the comments and everything. It just solidifies how well traveled she was and how many people touched her life as well as she touched other lives to bring joy and happiness. I mean, we keep going back to that, but that is truly one of the most unique and beautiful things about her life. At this time, I'd like to introduce a close friend of the family, Jonah A., if you would. Awesome. Jonah's going to play a little composition on the piano as well to showcase artistic talent and, again, her love of family and friends to include everyone, all walks of life and everything. Thank you. Give it a round of applause, guys. That's pretty good. Thank you. Wow. little lost for words, but as we draw to a close, my brother and I and our family would like to express our utmost thanks for all the families and stuff that have helped us. My beautiful family and family back east, I can name everybody, Kylie and Dean and everybody. They all reached out to give condolences and offer support and everything to Salabai and everybody. It has filled our hearts with joy and happiness, which is what our mom wanted. At this time, did you want to say anything, Jim? Or? At this time, what we'd like to do in true Jamie fashion, because as you know, she really, really enjoyed her Mexican food. And then once out here in Arizona, she had really decided and come to the conclusion after many days of thinking that she will only eat Mexican food on days of the week that end in Y. That's the only ones, no more. So what we have is the blue corn chips, hot salsa, and one of their favorite beverages to go with those hot salsa is margaritas. So we're doing a small little margarita station over here, stage left. And at the conclusion, you're welcome to come up and partake in a nice little margarita. But at this time, we'd like to say maru, and thank you guys so much. Appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
We are ya, we are ya, yo, away yo. We are ya, we are ya, yo, away yo. We ya, we are, we are ya, we are ya, yo, away yo. We ya, we are, we are ya, we are ya, yo, away yo. We ya, we do. Amadano Senegi, Tita Wikadegi, Tita Ijishigi, Wajona Dolet, Wayawina, Akahashama, Akahashama, Ayo, Awayo, Wayawe, Wayahaya, Wayahaya, Ayo, Awayo, Wayahaya, Wayahaya, Ayo, Awayo, Wayahaya. We ya, we ya, we ya, yo, away yo, we ya, we ya, we ya, we ya, yo, away yo, we ya, we do. Amadano Senegi, Tita Wikadegi, Tita Ijishigi, Wajona Dole, Wayawina, Akahashama, Akahashama, Ayo, Awayo, Wayawe, we are ya, we are ya, yo, Awayo, we are ya, we are ya, yo, Awayo, Wayawina. We are ya, we are ya, yo, away yo, we ya, we die, we are ya, we are ya, yo, away yo, we ya, we do. Amadano Senegi, Tita Wikadegi, Tita Ijishigi, Wajona Dole, Wayawida, Akahashama, Akahashama, Ayo, Awayo, Wayawe, we are ya, we are ya, yo, Awayo, we are ya, we are ya, yo, Awayo, Wayawida. We are ya, we are ya, yo, away yo, we ya, we die, we are ya, we are ya, yo, away yo, we ya, we do.
Amadan oslinigi, dida witradigi, dida ijishigi be, wajona dole, waya Yahweh dai, akahashama, ayo, awayo, waya Yahweh do.
Oh, Hare, 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 Hare.